It's Pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. This is your preview for Night of Champions and a little bit of SmackDown as well. And that is Jake fucking DeMarco. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on, my friend? Glad to be here once again over on the Spaz Phoenix side of things. It has been a chaotic week for everyone. The heat is nightmare inducing, but it is apropos when they're traveling 6 feet under to the desert oasis that is Night of Champions. A little on the nose there, but everybody gets it. How are you doing, my friend? Are you as excited as I am for this show now that Karrion Kross is wrestling?
Yeah, it's definitely one of the things we're going to talk about, and it leaves us a bit of space to talk about. There's two things I have to start off with. First of all, on a positive note, you guys have heard me talk about forever the guys over at the Wrestling for Life Network YouTube channel. KJ, Big Nick, Anthony, all of them over there are always doing cool things. If you want cool watch-along stuff, go check them out. Specifically, go subscribe to them right now. Sunday, June 29th at 6:30. That's this coming Sunday, the day after Night of Champions. They are hosting a live stream to bring awareness to men's mental health, with June being Men's Mental Health Month, etc. Another really cool thing they do over there on their channel. I really do encourage you guys to go check them out in general, but specifically, they're a bunch of good guys trying to do a cool thing. Please go check them out. Secondly, I'm going to do it. It's Saudi season again. I have to do the precursor that we put on all these types of videos. This is just about the show, guys. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. There's the typical conversation that surrounds all the WWE Saudi shows and all the additional, what's the nice way to put it? World events that have happened since last weekend. All those are important. All those are valid, no matter what side you're on. We're just here to talk about the show. If you're not watching the show, if it means you don't want to listen to this episode, absolutely fine, absolutely cool. But I always say, you know, Spaz, why are you talking about this friggin' negative show? There's all kinds of terrible things happening in the world. Well, what do I do when there's big, bad, terrible things happening in the world? I watch wrestling. Is it a paradox? Does it make me a little bit hypocritical? Maybe, but we're here to look at it as a show for show's sake. And if you are willing to join us on that journey, please continue listening. And if that means you want to hop off at this time, that is absolutely fine. And we will catch you next time.
It's a cop-out, but it's not a cop-out at all. We just want to focus on the wrestling. So we're trying to view this as a show in a bubble. That's really what it comes down to. Guilty or guilt-free, not for thee, not for me. We're not deciding anything here, sir. That's for my channel, not for yours. But the folks over there know we're looking forward to this, and things have been shuffled around. So before actually talking about the card, they're confirming that the Dominic Mysterio injury is legitimate now, that he has a rib issue currently that's causing him problems. The thing about a rib issue is you can't, you know, it's not something visible, so you can't
rehab it.
Can't rehab it, and you also can't necessarily, it's not like a broken arm or a dislocated arm like Liv. It's not something that happened in the ring either that we necessarily know about. So but you can't really prove and say definitely, but from everything I heard about, this seemed like a work, because we talked about it on the show on both Monday and the watch along last night. But the thing going on here that really sticks out is Night of Champions was set to be the moment where Finn Balor turns on Dominic Mysterio. This was reported all the way back in January, then again in April, like April 27th, I think we double checked that this was happening. And then 3 days before Liv got injured, how Finn Balor plans to turn it Dom at Night of Champions. Like, triple confirmed here. This was happening. And then all of a sudden she gets injured. They need to keep the Judgment Day alive. Why? Well, they want to make Roxanne hold on to the titles.
Champion,
they were going to give the titles to the Bellas at Evolution. They don't really care who has them and who holds them. They're just props anyways. That was kind of the behind the stage quote that I saw being passed around and shared. Not a great look, but regardless, hearing about the match that was canceled and the shakeup and whatnot, it is unfortunate because AJ was supposed to win the belt because Dom was supposed to turn on him here. And, Balor was supposed to turn on Dom, and this would basically have left Raquel turning on Live not much longer from now. Like you would see things slowly just evaporate more and more. Now they're holding off. They're going to kind of hold the Judgment Day together a little bit longer because Liv is a integral part of all of this. And
Of course, yeah.
they can bring her back. The thought that I'm hearing is they can bring her back sooner without clearing her because she could be utilized for all these backstage things for weeks and weeks, and that won't minimize her in-ring return. They're thinking they'll get a double return out
I
of it.
almost I almost wish they wouldn't, to be honest, because the not everybody loves Liv Morgan, but the people that love Liv Morgan really love Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
So if she's gonna come back and have a huge return, let it be in the ring. I know a lot of people are saying uh Rumble, or even if she's ready to go faster, like give her the time off. She's clearly busted her ass.
What if she only
The
comes back for a week or two just for storyline purposes? Everyone knows she's still injured. She can't come back yet, but just to wrap things up maybe, or at least get to the next chapter.
See, I get that from the storytelling point of view, but for the individual, like I'm a Liv Morgan fan tuning in to see Liv Morgan.
Yeah, waiting
If
on
she's
her.
if she's gonna be gone, let me miss her.
Okay.
Like I'm
I
going with
see
that.
that
I
point.
know I know that I know that that affects the story of it.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones where it's like almost secondary because I want the huge pop that she's going to get when she's able to return to the ring. Whereas 3 weeks from now, oh my god, she returns, but she's still injured, so she's not. I don't want to say not doing anything because the storyline work is important, but like not doing anything
Yeah.
as in she can't do anything.
But it shows the
Wha-
loss
uh,
of Liv led to the development of two matches, both the need for Cross to replace
oh
the
yeah,
IC title and then Roxanne getting involved, obviously, but Raquel
yeah,
and Rhea having a match,
yeah.
as we'll discuss.
Well,
So both of
I was
those
gonna
are
say
coming
we
out of
will
Liv's injury, and it's
we
interesting to see
will
what developed on the storyline sense.
Yeah, we will talk about those matches. As I mentioned to you beforehand, like we've got a pretty stacked SmackDown, so I kind of want to wedge that in as well. But you've brought us to the Dominic point right off the bat. I had a much simpler look at this, and obviously storyline permeation goes this way, storyline permeation goes this way, storyline permeation goes this way, right? But as far as Dominic's not cleared, so his match isn't happening at Night of Champions. Just like take that little bit of information in a bubble, right? And everybody says, is it real? Is it
Yeah,
fake?
I just
Is
hated
it
the
whatever?
immediate, oh my God, one of them must have decided they didn't want to go. And WWE is like, no, that's not it. That didn't happen at all. They're injured. Dom's injured.
Okay,
But
but
I smell a work,
here's my
is my
point though.
point. I think it's BS. That's what I wanted to see
He-
how you felt.
well, my point is, and this is not necessarily the greatest way to look at it, but it wasn't the match I was looking forward to on Saturday, right? So I'm able to say this in a certain way that's kind of dismissive, and I hope people don't take it that way.
Not the
There's
match, but
no
the
there
story I was.
the
Maybe
story,
that's where
yes,
I'm a little bit different on the element.
right, but
So
the story exists outside the match. I'm talking about as far as I, look, I'm a big fan of AJ Styles. I am happy to see Dom getting the love that he deserves after a whole lot of years of sort of finding out what his character is. I like all that. As a match, as a bell to bell AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio, wasn't really what I was looking forward to. Yes, we were going to get storyline stuff, etc. As soon as it was announced, or at least it was mentioned on TV, Dom's injured, therefore the match isn't happening. That's what the story told us on Monday night, right?
yeah,
And three people came out with three sets of people came out with three different responses. A, he's actually injured, which is terrible. Like, let's not fly halfway around the world if we don't have to and we're injured.
yeah,
B, it's for it's been put on pause because Liv being injured put the story on pause, and it's like, okay, they've done some preemptive shuffling to make sure the story still works. Awesome. The third option of this match isn't happening because one or both of them said they didn't go to Saudi Arabia. If that ended up being true, I wouldn't even hate that. So is he
yeah.
really injured?
I mean, they're saying
Okay,
it's a
that's
rib cage injury, and
yeah.
then on top of it being a rib cage injury, which sounds like a rib, they're saying that it won't require an extended absence from the ring. So he'll be
Mm.
back shortly, and they're going to plan to do the shows, soon. It was just told, but it
I'm just
sounds
saying whatever's true, I don't have a problem with any of it. If he's actually injured, obviously we hope for the best. If he's being pulled to make sure
certainly,
the storyline still makes sense, I'm fine with that as well. If it's pulled because one of them decided they didn't want to go to this show because of all the other surrounding stuff with it, I don't have a problem with that. no matter what the story is, I'm with the not with the company, but like with the creative process, with the wrestlers involved.
No, I get
And I
that. I
don't
just
and
like
I
getting to
don't
the bottom
feel
of it. I'm a nosy
yeah.
son bitch, and I want to know what was the.
Yeah.
And to me, it smelled like a work. That was my
And see, this
decree.
is the problem. Like you and I both, I mean, I think we still disagree on the R Truth thing being a work, right? I want to be nosy and
Yeah.
find out what the answer is if I want a particular answer. For me, looking at those three
Ah.
options, I'm okay with any of those options. If one gets confirmed over the other, I'd be like, okay, that's interesting, but I'm okay with it either way. That's why I don't dig as much, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. But yeah, we did get some damn good replacement matches that we're gonna get to in a second. But one thing I did want to touch on is when they do the international show, not just the Saudi shows, but we know Australia is coming up, we know Paris is coming up and all that kind of thing. They really do make a weekend of it, and it usually includes SmackDown. And I think at this point, WWE has gotten into two different modes with SmackDown on a pay-per-view weekend. There's the SmackDown that feels like it's a kickoff to the
Yeah.
pay-per-view the next day, or which is what I think is true in this case, there's a SmackDown that feels like it's part of the pay-per-view that's coming, and it's two very distinct different things. When I went to um Chamber in the Dome and all that, I went to the SmackDown the night before, and I was there was a dude beside me that was there with his kid that was like basically watching the show. When's this gonna happen? When's this gonna oh, that's happening tomorrow. Sorry, we're not gonna be at that show tomorrow. So the kid sat in the arena and watched a commercial for the show that was happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whereas with this, where they've balanced it out a little bit better, is the Night of Champions weekend, if I want to say that loosely. It feels like a third of it is happening on SmackDown.
Yeah, they do it nicely where they don't let people be totally disappointed. They're stacking it in such a
Yeah.
way where this SmackDown show, oof,
I don't even mean
seems
people
like
being
fire.
disappointed. I mean making a general point of the people performing on this particular episode of SmackDown feel like they're part of the pay-per-view. They're not there to advertise the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so
Well, that's what I'm saying.
so
Equal parts,
yeah,
equal booking on the cards. They're
with
getting.
with that being the case, I'm including the 3 title matches that we're getting on SmackDown as part of the Night of Champions preview. It is what it is. Um, Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax, last woman standing for the WWE Championship. I know what I don't want this to be.
Yeah,
Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax have a really sort of fun, kind of bitchy chemistry with each other that really works. If that's what we're getting, and if it's Tiffany finally relinquishing her nemesis, her former evil mentor for the last time, finally climbing the mountain, pause, then I'm cool with that. And it's going to be a plunder brawl, and they can have some fun with that. And the Tiffany Stratton character in a sort of WWE dangerous situation is something to play with. Nia Jax being the dangerous person in that kind of scenario is something really fun to play with. Nia Jax's second run in WWE continues to improve by leaps and bounds compared to some other people. Um, I really do have the feeling that this is going to be ruined with a cash in, and I'm going to be flipping the bird to my television. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking I've enjoyed Naya surprisingly.
Mm,
I really have, and it's one of those like bittersweet admissions to be like, yep,
yeah.
she's improved, but she has. I vehemently hated her. I despised that like no other. And I in an attempt to censor myself, the former hate was valid because my thing came from a sense of worry. It was the negative that she was bringing with so
Pause for
many
one
others.
second. Pause for 1 second because you just did it to yourself, and I do it to myself a lot as well.
Yes,
I don't think we need to check whatever our reaction to a particular show is as being valid or not. And it feels like a very
true.
if you switch over to Disney Plus this week, I think there's a very important conversation happening where you shouldn't be telling other people what shows they have to like and what people they have to like.
That's
But
very
that
true.
being said, that
No,
being said, there's only one Iron Man. Fuck off. And I'm past the 3-minute mark, so we're good.
you're way good
Uh
on that one. I
but no,
I
Because
Yeah,
I think what you're saying is the criticism Nia was earning the criticisms in her
every bit
first
of it.
run, whereas before she was like, "Yeah, I might be a bit dangerous, but I don't care. I'm here. I'm gonna do my thing." Now she's leaning into that dangerous thing, but by leaning into it, I think she's acknowledging it, which makes it like, okay, now she's going to play the dangerous character rather than being the dangerous person. And I'm sorry, as far as like performer growth, whatever you want to call it, I think that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, it is massive, certainly is, and
I want Tiffany to win. I don't
I
want fucking
in the
like
biggest
Timu
way.
Timu Owen Hart caution tape bitch coming out
No,
and
no, cash it in.
ruining the fun for everybody.
Yeah, no,
I mean, that
not
would
my
definitely be the
goal.
worst. That would definitely be the worst thing that's happened in that part of the world
There's
this week. Anyways,
actual call evidence on my channel of you losing it when Naomi won that briefcase. So
oh,
I'm surprised
fuck's
you're
sake,
even not in
yeah.
jail at this point. You know,
At
that's
the very least, in a padded room.
yeah. I mean, that's our justice system at work. That's like your mom
Stop.
walking in on you, you know, in front of the computer, one hand on the lotion bottle. It's not a pretty sight. And
Both ends on the lotion bottle. I use my toes.
oh, there we
Anyways,
go. Naomi
moving
having that
swiftly on. I
briefcase.
just think,
I agree.
like,
It's not a pretty
I
sight.
think, I think it's not that I wanted to make Naomi the total topic of discussion. I feel like Naomi is the end game for so many people that I want better for. Like it feels like Tiffany is inevitably going towards Naomi. It feels like Bianca, and I'm not even the biggest fan of Bianca. We've talked about it, but I think Bianca's ultimate direction is Naomi. I think Jade's ultimate direction is Naomi, and those are a lot of people that I wish were doing a lot better things.
Yeah.
Like they really are. We're gonna get to Jade later on, and I think you and I might have some interesting discussion when we get to the Jade match on Saturday. But I mean, I 10 times over, I'd rather see Jade than Naomi.
You and
I want
me
Tiff.
as well.
I want Tiffany to keep her belt. Like I say, all the praise that I have for Nia right now, my praise for Nia will be in the role of this big hill that Tiffany has to get over because people like her character, but they want her character to do something, and I think that's becoming a common criticism
I
of
mean,
WWE. While
that hill
WWE's been pretty
becomes
good, there are
almost
some yeah.
insurmountable to climb over. And I'm wondering if they add anything else to this show because they got the three matches and they're all, you know, important title matches. There's more
I'm sure
title
there will be
matches
like
than Night of
everyday filler
Champions. You
stuff.
know, there's
Yes.
only two title matches on Night of Champions, and that's something we were discussing last night about the
Mhm.
loss of PLEs and how you know Night of Champions isn't that. You know, SummerSlam isn't the party of the summer. My take on it was that because of them not needing to sell a pay-per-view anymore, really what they're trying to do is push Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. The PLEs they have become glorified house shows. And I mean, really, they have. They kind of lost a bit of that identity. They got to the five match format, get in, get out, get done. You know, quick.
There's
You're
six this time.
because you're not paying for it this time. This time,
I
indeed.
think there's six this time, and I think where you're more likely to break the five match
Evolution is
scale.
going to be seven supposedly
Evolution
minimum.
Evolution can't be just five matches. Like the whole all women's pay per view, but it does offer up another point of discussion of in pretty close proximity. You've got Great American Bash, Night of Champions, and SummerSlam. So for from booking the ladies' point of view, what matches have they pulled from potentially SummerSlam? What matches have they pulled potentially from Great American Bash or from Night of Champions to save it for that women's pay per view?
And obviously, when we
And
talk NXT and we talk, you know, everything Evolution, it seems like they have big plans in mind, certainly. But
I think it's a little compliment in NXT's direction as well, though, that the first match
because
confirmed for Evolution
yeah,
2 was the NXT match, which is I
Jason
mean,
Jane and
NXT
Jordan
is
Grace is a hell of a
it's gonna be a
match
lot of
to
fun.
have, and
It's
she's
gonna be a lot of
defending it at
fun,
Great
yeah.
American Bash as well against Monroe, right?
Look at
Isn't
okay, but here's the thing
so?
though, right? Here's the thing, you wanna make a title feel important, and right now, JC Jane and this is gonna be a conversation that we can touch on again closer to that pay-per-view. JC Jane is one that I'm really happy for right now because she was there and she was the person that could say, "I've been here for a while now," when all the heavy hitters came in, when Zarya came in, Jordan Grace came in, Stephanie Vacour came in, and Julia came in, and they kind of came through NXT like a whirlwind, and she sort of resounded, the dust cleared, and she was the one standing tall with her arms raised. I'm happy for her to have that
She
spot.
deserves it. And seeing her, come out of Toxic Attraction to Fatal Influence to getting
Yeah.
the title now and being the
Do you
one
know
to
what it
get the
reminds me of?
title,
Do you know what it
especially.
reminds me of? And people are gonna think this is a funny comparison, and I don't 100% believe it, but it's the closest one I can come up with at the moment. It's Randy Orton being part of Evolution, breaking up from Evolution, having his own career, and then, um, starting Legacy. Went
Yes.
from being in a faction to leading a faction. Jacy Jane was in, Toxic Attraction, now she's in Fatal Influence. We thought it was gonna be Fallon Henley as the leader, but no, she rose above.
What's funny there, that's a great comparison. It's very apropos and, lines
But
up
my
perfectly.
where my point is you want to NXT being the first match confirmed for Evolution is awesome because a lot of where women wrestling is now in WWE started in NXT, so there's a little bit of symbolism there.
Where it
You
still
want
reigns supreme, you mean, is in
y
NXT?
I mean, there's some other good stuff going on. I really like what's
I don't
happening with
say
the
it's bad in the main roster by any means. It's
I really
stellar.
like what's
I'm just
happening with
saying Rhea
The
Ripley.
women's Intercontinental right now.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of really good stories, and
Mm.
I just still think NXT has them edged out as far as the talent ball still seems to go. And Stephanie went to the main
But
roster. Don't forget.
you want a huge cluster around a belt to make that belt feel wanted. Is that
Everybody wants that belt.
that's a
That's
fair
a
measure, right?
very fair measure.
Look at the main event of NXT this week. You had was it Lash and Miss Jackson and
Who?
Jordan Grace and who was the fourth one? It was
Jada
Jasmine
Parker.
Nix,
Jada
Jada
Parker.
Parker. That's what I said, Miss Parker.
Jada
Miss
Parker.
Parker, Miss Grace, Lash,
Oh,
and
Izzy Dame.
Jasmine Nix. Izzy Dame, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the four of them in the match. You had the champion and her two contemporaries watching from what do they call it? The Regal's Nest.
Yes.
And then somewhere along the way, you had Tatum Paxley looped in, which looped in Sol Ruka, the other champion, and looped in Zarya. So you've got 10 women in that segment where four of them were fighting to get at another one because of the NXT Women's
Plus the
Championship.
the, the one girl from Evolve. She's awesome. Lainey Reed, was that it?
Yeah.
She's
Well,
still in that.
she went after Thea Hale, yeah.
Yeah, but
But
she's still in that circle of going, I guess, towards the belt, or staying that she has a claim to the belt, whatever you want to say. But still, like you said, there's a ton of people going after that title right now, and I
anyways,
love the
my
story of her being this on paper beatable champion. But she did what no one else could do. She beat Stephanie when no one else could do it,
oh,
and that
exactly.
that immediately puts her over. So that and she did it in such a
She
way,
has to
yes,
she has
but
to fight the label of you're the one holding the belt until somebody comes along to take it.
exactly. And
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 I
then
think
you
she's
see
doing
what the
really good in that
call-ups
role.
have done on the main roster. And you look at
Mhm,
Roxanne being involved, Raquel and Rhea are doing great things in the main roster. Their
mhm,
match is surprisingly a street fight. I thought
mhm.
this was going to be on Evolution. Then I'm like, wait, did they book it for Raw? Wait, no, that's not for Raw either.
Yeah.
That is for
Yeah, they did make
Night
the
of
announcement at
Champions.
the one thing I will say about Raw is for both of the replacement matches, they solidified both of them, but never said they were on Night of Champions till they ran down the card. The point that I'm really taking a long time to get to is with so many pay-per-views so close together, you got Night of Champions, you got Great American Bash for NXT, and then you got the two-night SummerSlam that they got to fill. They are going to fill the Evolution card with great women's matches, but where would they have fallen on other cards if Evolution wasn't this thing that got pushed to the forefront? I believe
Yeah,
JC Jane, Jordan Grace would main event Great American Bash if
I
Evolution
agree.
wasn't a thing.
But
I
I wonder
believe
if she's even going to make it to Great out of Great American Bash as a champ. I thought she was facing Blake Monroe there. I thought that was what
no,
was.
she's that they never said it was heavily implied. I don't I don't necessarily especially with the Blake Monroe, "Oh, we had to bury Athena under Mercedes Moné because Mariah May left us high and dry." Well, no, you didn't. Fuck off.
Yeah,
I I would love to see her start off with I'm trying to get to JC Jane, so right now I'll go through Fallon Henley.
Yeah.
I would like to see her take a detour to get to that title once Jordan Grace has it, because I think Blake Monroe, Jordan Grace is your big, not necessarily next year's stand and deliver oi oi oi, but
But one of the top
another.
tiers, yeah.
I
One of
hate
the
to say
bigger
it.
dream matches. I think the only thing confirmed is Obafemi versus either Inamara or Jasper Troy, and we'll
Yeah,
find that out next week. So
I think that's going to end up being a triple threat match. My point being, I would love to
kind of
save
hope
Jordan
not.
Grace. I would love to see Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe on an NXT takeover, or not takeover, but you get my point. I would love to see them be booked for a pay-per-view where that pay-per-view is the only thing happening that weekend.
Yeah, where they're the main
Because I
focus of
think
it.
I love these. I know people are getting sick of them, and I'm still on my more is more kick.
It is
But
a lot, though.
that's one that I would like to see where the pay-per-view does get to stand on its own.
I mean, that weekend
Uh,
is like 12 straight hours of wrestling, essentially, back to back. So it's a lot.
we will. I wasn't gonna do it. I was gonna let it fall by the wayside because of how jacked that weekend is. But we will do AEW All In. What the fuck is this?
Mm,
2025
it will
on this
happen.
channel.
Yes, it will
It'll probably be
happen.
done. It'll probably be done a week earlier. So we'll only be talking about half the card, but we'll talk about all the nonsense that we already
They
know
pretty
about.
much have it all run down. I mean, look at poor Athena. The only thing she's getting is the chance to be a entrant in the Casino Gauntlet match. I mean,
Okay, here's the thing.
she should
Here's
be
the
defending
thing.
her title in front of all these
She
people in
should.
Texas.
She should. She won't, but
What
she
are you
should.
doing with Ring of Honor?
Nothing. Apparently there is a Ring of Honor show that weekend as well. There's 5 shows that weekend.
Yeah. No one's
Here's my
watching
point though.
that. No one
Here's my
even knew
point
that
though. The
existed.
one thing I do have to say, because we do say a lot, I came into this saying we weren't going to talk about AEW, but here we are. I've always said if I want to shit on AEW, then I have to admit when they've done something that I like. I do like the Casino Gauntlet matches. But here's the thing. You are not shedding the oh my god, we're looking over our shoulder for WWE image by putting 2 discount Royal Rumbles on your discount WrestleMania.
Mm.
Anyways, that's enough of that. That just all
They
stemmed
didn't
from
need
the
a
first
women's
match.
as well. They should have just been one or the other, and they can alternate or something. Again,
Let,
just
let
like
the
with
women have it.
WWE,
Let the women have it.
they can have it, but like
Ugh.
then split it up. I hate it with WWE where they do both in the same night, even with the Chamber, even with the Rumble. Like it gets a bit to
Mm.
be too much. I know you're still the more is more, but I'm of the less is more camp.
Chamber,
So
chamber. I don't mind so much. Royal Rumble is going to be 2 nights eventually, and then that's going to be fine.
yeah,
Um,
that's gonna work a
that's
bit
I'm sorry.
better.
I'm sorry. I sound like I'm brushing your point off, and it's not what I mean to
No,
do.
not
But
at all.
if we do 2 nights of Royal Rumble and each night has 1 Rumble and a couple of other matches, I always said
It's easier to
do the
digest that way, and it's less
yeah,
limiting for the rumbles because then they have spots that they're like, "Oh, you
exactly.
can't have a save spot. We did a save, that kind of stuff." So,
Well, this is where I always said if they do it 2 nights, do the ladies rumble and a couple of men's match on the undercard, and then do the men's rumble and a bunch of ladies matches on the undercard. Just
yeah,
so that everybody is available for their respective rumbles and nobody necessarily has to do double duty unless you're making that part of the story, which doesn't have to be the case.
no,
Anyways, we spun off onto all of that off the first match on SmackDown.
yes,
Street Profits versus the Wyatts. And now I've said when we started, every match here leads me to a broader point that I want to talk about. You need to put the belts on the Wyatts. This is nothing against the Street Profits. You need to put the belts on the Wyatts. And then this story of the entire rest of the tag team division is going to make sure that the Wyatts don't come in and invade. But the entire rest of the division doesn't get along.
yeah.
You can get a lot out of that.
There's a
You can get a
lot of
lot out of
things that they're
that.
working here.
But it's the gigantic multi-person can they coexist
Yeah,
storyline. But you have to take the belts. The Wyatts have to be seen, and they're not bad guys either. So this is a really awkward thing to take. But you have to put out this idea that everybody else in the division feels like they've taken the titles away from the division. Kind of like Trick took the title away from TNA. You have to have this idea that the Wyatts have come into SmackDown, even though it's their brand too, and taken the tag team titles away from these tag teams. And then you let them all like kill each other while they're trying to decide who goes and gets the titles
yeah.
back and put the I'm straying into hyperbole here, but like put the Wyatts on that like god tier, like we're a wall of big dudes and
Yes.
you guys can't even get your shit together.
And I hope they do the Freebird things with them selfishly, just they keep that going, the momentum, swinging.
The Freebird rule with a four-man
Uh,
team,
yeah, so
because all the
designed
free
for it, right? I mean, come
no, but
on.
all the Freebird things have been three people, right? Like, okay, which two out of the three, right? You could have, but with four people, you could have you could have a completely different team defending the titles the next night than the people that actually won it. Like you could have Dexter and Gacy win the titles and then have Rowan and Bo defend them.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying that's what they're going to do,
No.
but the Freebird rule with a four-person team is a it's not you're not reinventing the wheel, but it is a different dynamic to play with.
Yes.
Way better than inventing trios titles. But I'm an asshole. It's fine. Um, but yeah, and like I say, it's nothing against Street Profits either. I want the Wyatts to get the titles and the Street Profits to be into this big amalgamation. Because look at all the good part about all this is it's not just a big ass melting pot. I mean, the Garzas are kind of separate because they've got the AAA titles right now, which is awesome. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about the different personalities involved of what is it?
I mean,
Pretty
that's
Deadly.
separating them. Yeah.
Yeah, Pretty Deadly, although one of them's injured right now. Motor City Machine Guns, DIY. DIY has the extra element of Candice LeRae as well. Street Profits are in there. There's somebody else that I'm forgetting. I'm a jerk. But the idea that the fight isn't even with the Wyatts, the fight is amongst themselves to
Yes.
see who's going to handle the problem of the Wyatts. That's something that they can drag out for a bit, and most definitely could drag out to a war games
Oh,
situation
certainly. I mean,
if
there's
we're even
ways to
doing
make
war
that
games.
work, no doubt about it.
But like here's the thing that you can play with as well. Like the war games, as much as it's been a lot of fun, I think the ones in NXT were a little bit better, but it is what it is. It's always been considered like a main event concern,
Yeah.
like a main event character, or at least captained by a main eventer, and then they went and recruited some people or whatever dynamic you want to play with. To have a decidedly mid card war games, decidedly tag team division oriented war games is going to give it a completely different dynamic because you've
Oh,
got
yeah.
teams together that are already. We said it the other day, like what's the thing on SmackDown? Like they're dedicated to being teams. So the idea of teamwork with people that are already in tag teams versus four individuals that you put
Yeah.
together to make a team isn't going to be an entirely different thing. And again, I go back to the
Real tag
personalities
team
point of view.
warfare, and the Wyatts fit
Yeah.
that
Oh,
build
exactly.
perfect.
Exactly. Can you imagine like it's Motor City Machine Guns, but they have to coexist with DIY because they're taking on all four members of a completely united Wyatt Six.
Yeah, it'd be great.
And then you got Candice LeRae and Spooky Nikki Cross on the outside doing stuff and things.
Yeah, see,
Um,
it all falls into place.
okay, so
But
I got Tiffany winning unless Naomi does something stupid. I
yeah,
got the Wyatts stealing the tag titles away, and a lot of people are laughing. I'm not necessarily laughing. Zelina Vega is going to lose to Julia, isn't she?
I would want to think so, but I'm thinking there's going to be some type of DQ or something here, and this rematch gets sent to
Evolution.
Evolution. That's the only thing I'm thinking out of this because they need to. If they do the title change here, that could be done in Evolution as well. That's a bigger deal for it. I feel like we're already going to get one title change there, possibly with Grace. Now we've got another possibly in the books. I think they want like things notable, big weekend, take up the news feed from AEW,
Mm.
like this title change and this title
I
change, like all these
I
massive
get
to
what you're
dos.
I get what you're saying, but I think
It would be a
as
big
in
deal for
like
SmackDown for them to get a title
it would.
change too. So I would want to say the Booker in me says Julia's taking it.
Yeah.
Anything logical would say maybe they string it along further, but there's other people for Julia to face, or you have the rematch at Evolution with the stipulation. So
maybe not even with a stipulation. Maybe it's just you do a rematch to cap it. Julia's won the title. Zelina Vega has a rematch in her back pocket. We get the rematch out of the way. Julia gets solidified at Evolution. I do think, both with the Tiffany situation and with the Julia situation, I do think you want to have a couple really good, strong women's outings this weekend in particular from an
Yeah.
optics point of view. And I hate talking about shit from like optics point of views, but we're talking a lot about Evolution.
Yeah.
Evolution, the
That's true.
first one,
Title change in Saudi would be massive for
mm,
the women's side.
Evolution,
So
yeah, but Evolution in its first iteration was done as a direct um answer, sort of compromise to the fact that you didn't have any women's participation in, I think, the first 2 or 3 Saudi shows. So to go from that to having 2 major title change moments in Saudi, yes, it's on SmackDown. Optically, it's the same.
yeah, it was Ric
Um,
Flair's possible baby mama. What was the hell was her name? It was Natalia
oh, Lacey
and Lacey
Evans.
Evans and Natalia. They were the
When they
groundbreakers
had when they
there.
had when they had to go out in the t-shirts and whatnot.
Yeah, so I agree. I think the Wyatts are taking the titles. That's their title change there. And then I think also Julia will take it, and that'll be big for the women. I think Tiffany Stratton retains, and that's also Night of
Yeah.
Champions themed, all titles. We'll likely
Yeah.
see Cena and
And
Punk there cutting the
this is
rug.
where I yeah, this is where I think where I come to my initial point of like SmackDown feels like it's part of the thing. Because if you're gonna have big moments, these are moments that you could have interchanged with something that was on the pay-per-view. It wasn't just, Ripley and Raquel cut a promo on each other on SmackDown because the pay-per-view is tomorrow. No, we did some cool shit tonight because
Yeah.
tonight is still important.
But this is also
Um,
most of these things have been brewing for weeks or
oh, of
or
course,
have,
yeah.
have been a natural like evolution of what's to happen next. So
The other thing I
that's what
want
I
to
like
mention
about
before
this
we
is where some of it's
yeah.
thrown together on the card. One thing you didn't mention is that this will be for you. And now that I'm using VPN services, hint, hint, wink, wink, we can watch it at 1 p.m. Eastern
Indeed.
live from the SmackDown side of things. If you have to wait to watch it in America on the USA Network, you got to wait till 8 Eastern, and it'll be
Yep.
airing obviously tape delays. So also interesting this Monday for Raw. Paul will be there, our live correspondent in the house, but he's
Live at
going.
6
Yeah, it'll be live at 6, so the review will be earlier, and then he will be there in attendance for the 4th of
for the
July
taping of SmackDown.
SmackDown. So
Yeah.
that's really cool for him.
You know what? That's awesome for the people in house. That's awesome for the wrestlers involved.
Well,
That's a
especially when
potentially
you only
6-hour
bought
show.
a ticket for Raw initially.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
week before, they're like, "Oh, by the way, you're coming earlier and you're getting both shows." That's really cool.
It is. I do want to be, the sappy nice guy that says it's also pretty cool for the wrestlers that they get July
That's
4th
what I'm
off.
saying. All the way around, like win, win, win,
Yeah.
win, win. The crowd gets
Yeah.
more. The wrestlers don't have to work on stupid holidays that they should be home with their families for, or celebrating, or
Yep.
relaxing, or whatever. I hated when we had to do like, "Oh, it's the 4th of July. It's a casket match between Kane and Bryan. Let's go!" Like that kind of shit. Like just
Oh, I'm
why?
sure. Well, that's the thing. Like, it's still being taped for the 4th of July.
No, I meant
So
like
I'm
they
sure
have to
I'm
be
sure there's
there
still
for
gonna be
no
like,
reason at all. Like this is
oh,
so
fair. I
pointless
got you. I
for
got you. I
us to
got you. I
have.
got you.
Like it's not even like a big title fight or anything. Like this is we're
Yeah.
in here in this
It's
city that's
it's
half
it's gonna
full for
be
nothing.
they're just gonna flip the ring ropes to red, white, and blue ropes for the second half of the show.
Yeah,
But I'm just thinking, right? Because I know
because the
Raw
stages
doesn't
are
go
the
the
same. Funny enough,
yeah. I know Raw doesn't go the full 3 hours, but 2.5, that's gonna be a 5.5 hour show.
Oh yeah, there's no because
Damn.
you need the full 3 hours of content for USA still. But now that's going to be the first 2 hour show, so it's going to be a 5 hour
Oh,
ish
that's
show.
right, too.
Yep.
Is
See,
okay. You've probably kept more track of this
they
than I
got you,
have.
my
Is
friend.
it
They got you.
is it 2 hours for that show, or is it 2 hours starting with that show going
So,
forward?
so it was supposed to be 2 hours with just this show. Then it was 2 hours going forward. Then it was 2 hours in August 15th, I think it was. And now it's kind of the 2 hour format will return, and they're just supposedly keeping it going forward. It's going to return to 2 hours. So I've heard
Oh,
a few different ways. It says along with the Netflix debut, they switched all of that there. They said that the Blue Band will revert back to its original 2 hour run time in the summer. The transition to 3 to 2 They said it starts, so it's supposed to start August 15th. For the Rainmaker starts at 10 Eastern for that show. But some people are saying it's just going to
What's
stay
that?
past the
Okada's
4th of
coming to
July.
WWE?
So,
Oh,
uh,
oh man. See, okay, here's something you didn't think you would hear out of me. Looking at All In, Kenny Omega deserves better.
yeah.
When
So,
did you think you would hear me say that?
right? So the 4th of July show, Raw would not be live. Raw would be taped from 6 to 8:30, but air from 8
Right.
to 10:30 on Eastern time. That not anymore. They moved it when he reported this. And then they will tape SmackDown from 9, do a 2-hour show. They could probably do it in an hour and a half, so they can get everybody out of there by 10:30 or 11, which is reasonable. But still, that's like almost a 5-hour show for these people. That's a lot. So great that they get
It
all
is a
that
lot.
extra content.
Yeah. No, that is really cool, and I would love to go to a Double Down show. I remember when you used to get the packages of, like, go to SmackDown, go to TakeOver, go to the pay-per-view, go to Raw, and
Yeah,
then they did it the opposite way when it was,
for
like,
the cost of
TakeOver
a
pay.
hot dog.
Yeah. But no, when it was the other way around, way, way, way back in the day, when they would tape SmackDown on Tuesday
Yep,
and it would air on Friday, so you would go to the pay-per-view, the TakeOver,
the
and then Raw,
SmackDown.
and then the SmackDown taping. But
Yep.
the SmackDown taping, I sent I remember sending pictures to you when you were on another show,
Yes,
and,
that's right.
it was definitely time to lay the tarps.
It was, and on
And let
top
me
of
tell you,
that,
brother, when they realized that people weren't showing up, man, those tarps came out of nowhere.
yeah, no. Well, as Ethan Page said the other
But
day, it's you know what I mean, lack of preparation. That's what it is.
anyways, the last thing I wanna say about SmackDown before we move on to the actual Night of Champions show, because we made a meal out of SmackDown already.
Mm,
Zelina Vega, Julia. Julia is a foregone conclusion. She's gonna be champion. She's a fucking star. It is what it
feels
is,
that
right?
way. Got to get that shirt. Yep.
Yeah, but, like, here's my point, and here's where I think people have missed the mark a little bit. There's a lot of people that were shitting on Zelina Vega because she's not Chelsea Green, which not everybody can be Chelsea Green. But I did see a slight pushback of people that were like, "Oh, Chelsea wasn't that great either." Here's what I'm putting to you, right? I'm not sick of Chelsea. I'm not sick of Zelina Vega. I'm sick of them fighting each other. And you're
Yeah.
talking about two wrestlers that I like a lot. I think Zelina Vega is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get it twisted. But I think she's way better than people give her credit for. And Chelsea Green, who's getting the love that she deserves most of the time, still deserves more.
Yeah. No,
So I
no
think
doubt.
the union of Chelsea and Zelina got way older than either one of them did as characters. And I think we're and this is on WWE, this is on their writing, this is on their creative or lack thereof, depending on how you want to look at it. It's on them that the best thing Zelina Vega is going to do with this title is lose it.
Yeah.
That's
Sadly, I
really
mean,
unfortunate. Yeah.
what more has she done with this title? It's just been a
She's fought with
sad
the
state of
Secret Service
affairs.
over and over, over and over and over again. And Chelsea's had her friggin' like dashing Chelsea Green mask. Um, I don't know. I hope they have something
You
else
know
for
what's
Vega.
sad is that it was supposed to be Tank versus title. And they wanted
Mm,
shots. Well, Shotzi was pitching that Chelsea would take her tank. She wouldn't win the title, and then she would
mm,
like update it so the tank would shoot glitter and all these type of like special girly things that just would have been really fun.
mm.
So I think that would have been
Apparently,
interesting.
Selena
I wish
Vega.
they gave you know, I wish they gave Shotzi a bit more, but that's neither here nor there for this show.
Yeah, well, she's got the biggest feud in the Indies right now with Matt Cardona. She's fighting to be the new king of hardcore indie wrestling.
Well, you know who's fighting to be the king is Beast Mortos because he went from never being on the show. Now this week he's becoming a number 1 contender. You know,
Are his knees
for the
bruised like hers
world
are?
title.
Tighter?
What a
The
career
world
roller
tighter.
coaster that is. Hey, oh buddy, I'm
But
telling you.
I don't know. I heard a thing where when what was it? It was Meechin and Chelsea were fighting for the longest time, and they were having like the dumpster matches and whatever. Zelina Vega pitched a thing where she was going to run in to help Mia Yim, and she was going to have like that flip flop that she throws at people, but like wrapped in barbed wire. And they said, no, we're not going to do that. I'm like,
Yeah,
ah,
we're
do
not.
something fun.
Yeah, we're not doing that though. It's not
Do
happening
something fun.
about that. It's just not happening.
Like a lot more people these days get to be a little bit more badass than they used to be because it's not quite as sanitized, but you still have to get to that level, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now,
Which
let's talk about some nice stuff. Night of Champions. Night of Champions. We got 2 extra matches when the IC title match was pulled. First one, and it's just feel good all around. Sami Zayn carrying Cross.
this is
How long have we
great.
been waiting for this? How long have we been waiting for this?
Since
Like when I say this, I
2023,
mean
he's not been on a PLE, I think they said. And
yeah.
then he
Oh, I'll
also
read.
hasn't.
I have his. I
Yeah,
have
you've
his
got this whole
comment that he left
breakdown.
to the. No, I don't have a breakdown of anything.
Well, his response.
This was something that he put out after the match was announced for Night of Champions. Once they clarified on TV that it was actually for Night of Champions.
And I love the way they built it up too. It's something that's been logical. The next step, they've done it for weeks now, and makes perfect sense.
He's been the operator. He's been in everybody's ear that has had a big story.
Yeah,
and everybody's like, "Oh, look at all this work he's doing! I can't believe WWE's not putting him on TV."
That's why his merch has sold out, and we've seen obviously the Puppet Master at play.
Mhm. I do want to. There's 2 sides to this though, right? Is I miss seeing Karrion Kross in the ring because I think in the ring he's got a really cool presence that they don't play with nearly enough. But the people that were like, "Oh my god, he's done all this cool story work and he's interacted with everybody. How come WWE is not using him?" If they weren't using him, you wouldn't be seeing those interactions on TV.
Exactly.
TV time is valuable. But at the same time, the fact that he hasn't had a match in forever, and the stupid rumor that like, oh, we can't really put him in matches because he doesn't like to bump.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take it
Let's
back
fuck off
bump.
with that
Now
one.
he's got it to a point where it's almost comical. But
Well, he bumps to his side, but
yes,
like it's not supposed to be cookie cutter in like a foam pit where everybody falls down exactly the same way anyway. But anyways, here's what he said on a much more positive note. Um, all of you on this is his response to the announcement of the match at the pay-per-view. All of you online and especially at live events made this happen. Lost my place already. Stay loud for what you like and what you want to see. Keep it positive and they
mm-hmm.
will listen. In closing, I told you I'm very big on loyalty. When you show up for me, I'll damn sure show out for you. Signed, Kevin Robert Kessler, aka Karrion Kross. No, the fact that he signed like his real name and his
Yeah,
state, like
and his stage
that
name
little
is
bit of
great.
that little bit of like I'm stepping outside the sinister role for a second to like actually thank you. And by the way, I'm going to show out on Saturday. Like he balances that line really really well. But it's a nice thing. Like you know what? But he says a good point though. He's like, oh WWE, like when people are like WWE doesn't listen. It's like stay loud for what you like, stay loud for what you want to see, keep it positive, and they will listen. In other words, like
Absolutely.
what I take from that is like, don't go there to shit on what you don't like. Go there to cheer what you do like. That's
Yeah.
what they'll listen to.
Spoilers coming out now for the July 1st NXT episode that was taped after last night's episode in Orlando. So that's out there as well for those that want it before we get into Night of Champions further. But
I don't want to talk about any of that.
no, we don't mention spoilers here. I'm just letting people know
I
that
didn't
that's
used
also
to
taped
like
as well. I used to not
even
mind,
in
but
like
we've avoided it going forward. You know, we tried to not
even in
include
prime
things.
like black and yellow NXT days, I couldn't wait to read the spoilers because like I want to see it, but I
Yes.
don't care if I hear about it first. Now I'm just like let me see it when I see it.
Well, a lot of that
Like
too,
the
black that wasn't always live either, so we had to wait, and
remember
so
they used to do similar to TNA where TNA like tapes a block and then we get it and whatever. NXT used to be the same, and then what I liked was when you went to an old school NXT takeover, all the dark matches were next week's episodes.
yeah,
So for 1 week, that following week's episode of NXT got to feel arena size. And I
yeah,
thought that was a really cool thing. And you had a really, really excited crowd because it was a crowd full of people that were waiting to watch a pay-per-view.
which is
I
yeah,
thought it was a really cool trick for them to play, but it is what
hmm
it is. Anyways, so that was a really cool message from Karrion Kross. He's really gone over and above and beyond, like sending out all these like video messages, video vlogs constantly, like, hey guys, they see you, my shirts are coming out, they hear you guys talking about me. And it's simple shit, but like it makes you want something for the guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, is he the wrestler that Sami Zayn is? No,
No, certainly not.
certainly not. But it doesn't mean that you don't connect with somebody and want stuff for them. And that's going to apply to somebody else we talk about later on for me as well.
Yeah.
On the other hand, like, I know we're not going to get into a lot of the geopolitics of the Saudi shows and whatever, but you talk about one person where going to the Saudi shows actually seems to be a positive thing. On the other side of this coin is Sami Zayn.
Yeah. True.
And so he's one of the ones that can actually look forward to a Saudi show. I know they did the first one that he was able to go to. They went around and like vlogged with him, and he talked the audience through some like cultural stuff that I am not qualified to talk about.
Yeah.
Obviously, but like Karrion Cross is having a really good feel good moment. Sami Zayn's having a really good feel good moment, and within the fiction of the match, he just decked Cross in the face on Monday. It's like, stop talking shit.
Yeah. Like,
And it's
that's
really
enough.
that simple. Like he's just picking away, picking away, picking away. Like, he's the bully, but he's the manipulator at the same time. It's again with Cross, it's another really fine line. It's a
TikTok.
fine line between manipulator and bully. Like they're two different stereotypes, but like he's kind of doing
And how
both.
great was Scarlett in this? The way she sold everything. She looks shocked. She looks angered. Her husband gets struck, and then he walks away, and she's like, "Oh, stop it!" And then he's smiling behind his hand. Like it was great. The reveal.
Supposedly, if you believe the dirtiest of sheets,
Yes,
apparently, before they taped that segment, Cross and Sammy like getting ready to do the segment, he was like, "Just hit me for real,"
yeah.
because
Because
like
I said that was the best
that wasn't a
right that
pulled
I've
punch.
seen. No, I said that was the best right I've seen in ages. And he was like, "Yeah, hit me," and it made perfect
Makes you
sense
think of
because
like
I've not seen a better right hand
Mayweather and Big
trailer.
Show back in the day.
Oh yeah, or even May Young, where she used to be like, you hit me,
Don't be
you
a
lay it
pussy,
in."
put me through
Yeah,
the table. Yeah,
exactly. Don't be a bitch, bitch.
there's there's something separate that we're gonna talk about after we're done talking about this card
There's just
because
something great about that, isn't there? Like in the
yeah, just
wrestling
do it.
sense. Yeah,
Well,
just
what do they always say? Like the ones that are
well,
the ones
that's
that are friends
Cody
behind the
Rhodes' thing.
scenes.
FSA, full
Yeah,
speed ahead. Like, yes sir, let's do it. Yeah.
yeah, but the ones that they always like, it's a cliche. I don't know how 100% true it is, but the cliche is the wrestlers that are friends behind the scenes are the ones that hit each other the hardest in the ring.
Yeah.
Do your apologies ahead of time. Let's go do the match.
They were saying that on the Damian Priest podcast, and he was, Cody
I
whipped
have
his
to start
ass.
listening to the I have to start listening to the Cody thing. I've heard clips here and there about
The one
different
with Kevin
things.
Owens today was excellent.
Yeah,
I've
I know
almost
you sent
finished
it to
it,
me.
and oof, it was good.
You sent it to me, but I was sweating my balls off at work. Yep,
Yes.
that's what I was doing. Sweating my balls off. Switched into my third t-shirt of the day. Not nice. Not
Hi,
nice. It's
Dr.
not always
Nick.
don't listen to all the stereotypes. It's not always cold up here. I'm just saying. Um
Yeah.
Sammy Cross for the story, I know it's Sammy and Saudi. Cross has to win this, doesn't he?
Yes. Especially for the story, especially never mind the momentum behind Cross is coming to a fever pitch. Like he needs this win regardless, but also Sammy needs to lose here because of the story. Like everything they're telling here needs to be the crumbling of Sami Zayn's sanity as he loses everything that matters to him and cannot get that world title win.
I would love, and I don't want wrestlers to copy other wrestlers, but Kevin Owens has that promotional style, that like overacted style, like that almost George Costanza. Am I the only one that sees what's wrong here? Type of like paranoid, frustrated thing. I'd love to see Sammy adopt a bit of that.
Yeah.
Like not go totally cartoony, like conspiracy theory. I've got a documentary, Sami Zayn, but like a more realistic, like, hey, you know what your best friend does?
No kidding.
Bet
Yeah.
we bet you could do that too. Cross has to win. Cross, I need to see Cross more on my TV. Like, and I don't mean on my TV, I mean like actually in the ring, like actually fucking with some people. Because when people are like, "Oh, well, he's no good in the ring," and I want to turn around and say, "Well, he is. Do you see him in NXT? Do you see him here and there and whatnot?" But then you think of like That was a fuckload of a long time ago as well.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? There was just a report that came out from PW Mania and a few others that really just validates everything I said. At
Mm,
They said it was supposed to be a mixed tag team match between Liv and Dom taking on Roxanne and Finn Balor. Raquel
mhm,
would have turned on uh, Liv and joined Roxanne, and that would have taken, they would have lost the belt to the Bellas, but she was also supposed to
mm.
take on Io Sky. It was supposed to be Liv Morgan and Io Sky at Night of Champions. That was going to be the other match announced, and
Do you know
that's
what
what
would
didn't
be
happen. Wow.
interesting? And this is what would be interesting, and this is the only way that I can tolerate the Bellas being involved in anything. If Raquel and Liv and Roxanne are all backstage, and Liv obviously can't wrestle and whatever, and Roxanne's like, "Look, I know we don't always get along. Let me take your place tonight. Let us keep the belt in the Judgment Day, and we'll figure out the rest of our shit later." And then Roxanne carries Liv's belt to the ring along with Raquel to defend the titles, tags herself in and lays down.
Right? Now that would be crazy.
Just like the
Her and
easiest,
Raquel will
like,
get the belts back, but I didn't want it tainted by your legacy. We need our own title reign, something like that. Yeah.
yeah, or not even that, just let Raquel be angry too. Like, let Roxanne be like a little bit of a Napoleon complex, the little tiny girl that nobody thought anything of.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a prodigy, eh? Well, the prodigy just single handedly lost you your tag title.
Well,
Something like that.
a lot of
Because
Evolution 2 got fucked. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, yeah, that's gonna be a whole ass long conversation when that week comes. Speaking of that, kind of, and it's a pivot, so this kinda came out of nowhere, even though it does make sense storyline-wise and whatever. We're getting a street fight with Rhea Ripley and Raquel Rodriguez. I don't care
Interestingly
if
enough.
I wouldn't care if there's no story here. This is just gonna be fun, man.
Yeah.
In a WWE, and I know it sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, in a WWE that makes so much sense and has so much build and has so many layers and whatever, there is still value to throw me a random graphic and I just point at the graphic and say, that'll be fun. Because it's the opposite. And you need a little bit of that as well. And I think WWE's lost a little bit of that randomness. Remember we said going into WrestleMania, going into the other one, probably going into Money in the Bank,
Yeah.
where I was like, I need something totally random to happen. I need
Yes.
something totally out of the blue. I need something totally fucked up. I need something potentially controversial, unpopular, whatever. I need now that we've got all this rich history and planning and layers and everything's got texture and all that kind of thing. Now that we have all that, I want to backpedal a little bit. Give me
Yeah.
something random. Give me something I didn't expect.
Anything. Yes,
And this isn't
exactly.
quite that because these two have a long history, and there's a reason for Ripley to have a problem with the Judgment Day still because they have history. They cost each other their matches for King and Queen, or sorry, for Queen of the Ring. So there is reason. It's not out of nowhere, but it feels enough out of nowhere to be fun.
Yeah. Certainly.
And
And
Ripley's got to win this.
I'm
Ripley's going to
not so
win.
sure. I think that Raquel's going to win. I think they're going to make a big deal out of Raquel replacing Liv and being the one to like step up. I think they need
Mm.
something out of Raquel for the next few months while Liv is injured. So I think that's what we're getting, unfortunately.
I do like the story that I have heard. If they can't get the Bellas, or if they can't make something work with the Bellas, because we didn't even see Nikki Bella this week, thank God. The secondary plan is Raquel and Roxanne versus Rhea Ripley. And this is why I'm saying at Night of Champions, she beats Raquel, but then there's a double team after the fact,
Yeah.
gets saved by Stephanie Vacour. Because a lot of people are pitching Rhea Ripley, Stephanie Vacour as a tag team.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of, like, fan art going on or whatever, but the whole idea of the 2 monsters come together, Ripley's obviously the superior monster, and then, like, here comes Roxanne Perez, like, little evil smiley Mothra or something. That was so shit.
Hey, it
But and
works,
then
but
you get Stephanie Vacour as, like, I don't know, Robo King Kong or something.
yes,
I don't know enough
the
about the Toho
Hydra.
universe to make this
The
metaphor work.
Hydra.
But, I do wanna spin off this because my whole thought on this match is it's just gonna be fun, right?
Yeah. I mean,
When
that's the
Raquel
goal of
called
it.
out Rhea Ripley this week on Raw, and Ripley came storming to the ring, I'm gonna say something that I've said 100 times, but it hit me like a ton of bricks, in particular this week on Raw.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, she's a star.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, we say it a lot, and we don't say it enough. There's something about Rhea Ripley, and even when she was doing the Terror Twins stuff with Priest after Judgment Day split in half and made the new iteration and whatever. There's something about her with the music and the way she carries herself and walking down, like doing that march down the ring alone. Not even in wrestling gear always makes the
Running her
aesthetic
mouth,
thing a little bit,
a la Stone
but
Cold.
just
Yeah,
yeah, but just like I
in
don't
the
even have
best way
wrestling gear on.
possible.
I was just walking by catering when I heard you were talking shit. Why don't you say it to my face? Like that kind of thing.
Yep.
Like I get it. You can't everybody's a character. I believe Rhea Ripley.
Yes, that's the thing, and
Like,
she
yes,
is the up
did
at the
she go
top.
to, wardrobe and get the absolutely like this is what's gonna look the coolest and I've got all the makeup and is she all gothed out like I like because Spaz digs crazy chicks and all that. Is there prep? Is there character development? Is there an element of
Theater.
kayfabe and put on and theater? Theater is a perfect word, actually. Is there all of that? Yes. Is she a produced character to a certain degree? Yes. Here's the thing. I
It's
believe her.
relatable and real. You
I believe
believe
her.
her. Exactly.
Here's the thing. When I said a while ago that what did I say? I said the four main characters of WWE are Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, and Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. The pillars.
Yeah, pretty much. I came around to Cody. Roman finally found his place. I'm always going to be a Punk guy.
Yeah. And it always
I
goes back to Punk
but
somehow. So
It does. But out of the four of them, I believe Rhea Ripley.
yeah.
And I'm saying that over CM Punk.
Absolutely. You know who else is supposed to be a star? Who they really look at as a star is
Mm.
Jade Cargill.
We're going to
And
get to that. We are going to get to that.
well, I
I
was
just
curious.
want
Yeah, go ahead. I was
I just
curious.
I
So
just wanted to like it's Ripley and she's going to go and she's going to thump somebody on Saturday and that could be the shortest conversation ever. It just I don't know, something about this week, something about like okay, all the other plans we had, all the other tag title plans we have gone to shit. All the evolution plans we have gone to shit. Send Raquel out there to talk some shit about Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley's going to come out there and thump you. Now we've got a fight. Now we've got something I can look forward to.
yeah.
She is a fucking star, man.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
don't
And
care what she's doing. I don't care if it's for a title or not. If there's anything right with the world in WWE, if WWE have even a sniff of pulling their head completely out of their ass, whatever Rhea Ripley is doing at Evolution is the main event.
she supersedes the need for a title at this
Like,
point.
oh, exactly.
She's beyond the elevation that is
See,
need a title.
here's the thing. Like the only problem that creates, and it's not really a problem, it's a problem of excess, if anything. I want Rhea Ripley in the main event of Evolution. I don't know who deserves to be in that spot with her.
I mean, realistically, she should be, but I don't see it happening at this
She
point.
probably won't be. It's fucking disgusting. But like the only one I would say maybe deserves, and it's only from she's still kind of new, and I'm really intrigued, and I want to see how far they can push her. Is again Stephanie Vacour.
Yeah, and
But
she's
like,
beloved by
there's
fans. She'll
nobody.
be there, but I don't see her in that upper echelon either. They're gonna make
They're
her,
gonna stick her with Nikki Bella
yeah,
as a tag team partner, and they're gonna give her the tag belts that don't matter. And that's
Vacquet. Yes.
yeah.
And then she had to
It's
go on their
I hate
podcast to give them a make good for saying her name wrong and be like, "You girls saved and we're
I
wrestling."
hate I hate using this expression because the first person I ever heard say it is a podcaster that I can't stand. Figure it out. The fact that Rhea Ripley is not the star of their company, and yes, there's a couple, there's Cody, there's Punk that are on that echelon with her. The fact that she's not on the marquee, the fact that she's not the center of your poster, the fact that she's not factored into your big four pay per views right now for next year is promotional malpractice.
I mean, you could say that about Io Sky being the champion, not being up there.
Hmm?
They do have Tiffany Stratton up there on the buses with Cody and Punk, but they don't have
I'm sorry,
Io.
I love Io. I think Io's fantastic. I think she's doing a lot for that title specifically because of how new it is and all that. She's not even in the stratosphere of Rhea Ripley, and it's not
I
a
agree, but
wrestling and it's not a
I'm saying more
wrestling
the
thing.
IWC mindset is, if you're the
Yeah.
champion, you should be the face. And I'm saying they don't even have
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
being a rule
Yeah.
being followed. So,
Yeah. But I'm saying Io Sky, and this is where it comes down between one thing and the other. Io Sky, bell to bell, is probably a better wrestler,
yeah.
but you put Rhea Ripley next to Io Sky, and it doesn't matter. And that's no disrespect intended. Io Sky, awesome. The potential that we got teased with of Io Sky and Asuka somewhere down the line is absolutely a delicious match. And yes, I just said
Io's the
delicious.
more full package, you would think, but
Yeah.
really that's not the case. It's Rhea. Yeah.
Oh, Ripley's the package.
Yeah, I
Io's
said
the wrestler.
yes. I'm saying
Um,
Rhea's the full package. You'd think Io would be, but she's not.
mm, yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to waste 10 minutes talking about how awesome Rhea Ripley is. She better win.
Well,
She's gonna
it
win.
surprised me
She's
because Jade Cargill, they had going into WrestleMania with the title, they were going to have her beat Nia
yeah,
Jax, and that we didn't get to
yeah.
discuss. That's where I was going with it. That's shocked me how much they want to put the machine behind her, and it feels like the
Mhm,
machine again. It feels like a Roman
mhm,
Reigns
mhm.
2016-17 esque victory again. Because she's still green in the ring. That match with Roxanne left a lot to be desired on Monday. It stood
Yep.
out because it was boring, and it wasn't like bad wrestling you can even get behind at times, but boring on a
Yeah.
show where you have those other four hot matches. It stood out for being bad. When you have Bailey and Becky delivering what they did, and then Lyra getting involved, and the only negative of that was Becky and Lyra talking in the ring after the match was over, trying to seem believable. That left a little bit to be
Yeah.
desired. That's Lyra's acting, but that's neither here nor there.
But Becky Bailey, like,
That was a great match.
we took it
Woo!
back to NXT.
Yes, and
Okay,
I want Jade and Asuka to be that, but I think Jade's going to steamroll Asuka.
I do too. And I think that's gonna make a lot of people upset. Here's my thing. Asuka should win this because Asuka is a better wrestler. She leans into the spooky a little bit with the way she does when she made her return and she was all done up like the demon almost.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to see Asuka back. I wish she was winning this. I don't think she is. Jade's winning this. Here's my thing with Jade, and I'm glad we
Asuka should
piggyback.
win it, but doesn't need it. I feel like right now Jade probably needs it more. No,
Here's my thing, right? And it's different with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes because they're both on SmackDown. The thing about this is the winner of the King and Queen of the Ring, it was decided very early on, they will face the champion of their own brand. It's not
respective.
it's not like the Rumble where
Yeah,
you get to pick which championship you're going for. Jade going to SummerSlam to fight for the WWE Women's Championship does not mean that Asuka isn't going to SummerSlam to fight for the world title.
yeah.
So the Asuka Io Sky match that they teased on Monday can happen anyway.
It can happen at
Jade,
Evolution. It can happen at SummerSlam. It can happen regardless. But Jade and Tiffany, I don't see how you get there without this. Really. Well, I mean, you
well,
could,
exactly,
but it just with
and
the
Jade needs
faces
it,
thing. Yeah, Jade needs
and
the
Asuka is she's way more than a set of good hands, but
yeah.
she's a good set of hands to help somebody find their way in a match. She's like a Bailey or a Becky, or look what Becky's doing for Lyra Valkyria right now.
Yeah,
I know some of the character work isn't there, but in ring, Becky has helped Lyra. As far as a promo, Lyra's not quite there yet, but Becky's given her the confidence to get way better than she was. Asuka can do a similar thing for Jade, and they fought, what was it, last year or no, 2 years ago, WrestleMania, when it was Damage Control versus the Big 3. So they've already got the familiarity
yeah.
going for it. Here's my thing. Jade is gonna win this. I don't mind Jade winning this because it doesn't put a hamper on Asuka because they're on 2 different shows, which is why this part of the King and Queen of the Ring thing has a little bit of a loophole in it.
Built
Jade,
in. Yeah,
like I said, coming off the back of my big praise for Rhea Ripley, Jade is at the beginning of a Rhea Ripley story because Jade's not that great in the ring. We knew it. We knew it when she was in AEW. We knew it when she came to WWE, but we also knew that WWE could do what AEW wasn't necessarily doing. It's like, okay, we're going to help you work on your in-ring stuff, but we're going to
Yes.
accentuate everything else.
And that's why I'm surprised they've
She's
still
she's
they haven't
she's
presented her
likable.
like
She's
Goldberg.
yeah,
I mean, they put her in there and had matches. I mean, she's doing things of length and merit. It's just
yeah,
not always
and they put her
clicking.
for whatever I can say about Bianca Belair, and she's not my I don't hate her. She's not my favorite. Whatever. There's no way she didn't learn from the tag team run that she had with Bianca Belair,
Oh yeah.
right? But here's my thing. Jade feels like she's on the beginning of what I said about Rhea Ripley, where Jade it doesn't have the bell to bell stuff yet, but she has like what do they say like the intangibles.
Yes.
She walks into a room and she owns the room. She grabs the microphone and she might stumble bumble over her words, but people are listening to what she's saying. She does have the star presence. She does have from a she doesn't have the same kind of presentation as Rhea Ripley, but she is presented with the same
Like
kind of strength from WWE's point of view. Like here
exactly.
is a star, and she's got some magnetic character traits that have me as a fan. And this is where I can say like other people will look at how she is in the ring and they're like, I'm not buying in right now. I get that entirely. But she's got me at a point right now where I can look at it and say, yeah, she's not that great in the ring. But you know what? I want to stay on the story. I want to see her get better. I want to, look at a match that she has a year from now where she is better that says, "Hey, I was watching today and a year from now I can see how much better you've gotten because I was watching you back here." Like she's got my interest, not necessarily like my raging fandom like I've got for Rhea Ripley, but she's
Yeah.
got my interest. Like you could have me like that in a year or so. So I'm
Exactly.
as much as I would love Asuka to win this match specifically, because also we're happy to have Asuka back. She was gone forever. I'm really on board for Jade in a I hope she gets there kind of way. Because she's got to say that the only thing that she doesn't have right now is the wrestling is a really defunct way to
Yeah.
describe it, but it's kind of true. Like she's got me in every other aspect. I hope she can get better at the wrestling. Sounds really backhanded and really shit, but I mean that
In
positively
yeah,
because
but
she's
in the
grabbed me
best way.
anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. Um,
I still want to
I'm
see her
not.
succeed. I just don't want
Yeah,
her to become that Roman Reigns, where
yeah.
it's so evident that she's being pushed above others that do deserve it, that it's like, oh no, we have to go with Jade. We can't pivot, that kind of thing. So hopefully that's not the case, but
You mean like they
uh
do with Bianca, except she's better in the ring.
yeah, so next match we
Anyway,
got coming up, I was not surprised that it was announced, but announced for this show. It almost seemed like it wasn't going to come to fruition, and we still have one more interaction, but we got Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa for the US title. This breakup angle that people have been waiting on for some time now. It's it's going well.
mhm,
I feel like here's my worry. I know that they have others in the wings waiting to come in, Hikuleo and others that have
yeah.
recently made debuts, on main event and stuff like that. It's just a matter of how many more Samoans can we throw into this Solo Sikoa bloodline to then go up against Fatu and whoever he needs for support, like you know, uh, Jimmy Uso. So
I
I
have
think
a
that's
theory
where
for
they're
you.
going with it. Yes, sir.
I have a theory, and I'm with both sides of the camp on this one. I get the people that are sick of the bloodline that are like, this isn't even the bloodline anymore. Just let it go, do something else. I get it. I'm not there yet because I think Solo Sikoa, now that he's not taken seriously, now that he's seen it the guy that's just punching way above his weight,
Yeah.
I think he's found a pretty comfortable, like totally fake confidence
Yes.
kind of character. And I think he's just sort of tweaking and finding his way with it. And obviously he's got another big guy to stand behind him. Here is my theory for next year's WrestleMania.
Okay.
Next year's WrestleMania, I think you're getting a fatal four-way tag match. I think it's going to be Solo and JC versus Jacob and Hikuleo versus the Gorillas of Destiny versus the Usos.
Mm. Interesting. That would certainly
because
be a
everybody
Samoan bloodline war line, you know?
because Hikuleo is yet to come in. We don't know whose side he's on and whatnot, right? But he's the only one that's by himself. Jacob, I mean. Like Solo still has JC, or at least that's what they're leading us to believe for now. Apparently they're throwing the brakes on Jay's singles push and they want to do some Uso stuff, which is fine, but I don't
Fine.
think you I don't
They
think you
know that
totally throw it out with the
Jimmy
bathwater.
fell so far. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. You said it there, you know. It's like Jimmy fell so far behind to Jay that they're kind of like, "Oh, we need Jay to pick up Jimmy," it feels like now,
Yeah.
in a way.
I think there's the other side of the coin of the people that like wanted Jay to succeed, but like we didn't want you to like Royal Rumble WrestleMania succeed. Like there's people like that out there too. It's like we will cheer you, sorry, until you succeed. And then you're over pushed and not deserving and blah 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 blah. But the whole point of it is at this point, because the Gorillas of Destiny have been gone for so long, I think trying to reinsert them into the solo thing at this point would be like throwing a band-aid on.
Yeah,
So if they come back and they're just sorry, a tag team unto themselves, I'm fine with that.
it would
I
probably
don't have a
serve
whole
them
lot of
better.
I don't have a whole lot of as a fan, I don't have a whole lot of personal experience just watching them be the Gorillas of Destiny as a tag team. So I'd like to see a bit of that just because I haven't.
Yeah.
And people said when they came in, it was, oh, it's going to be them versus the Usos, obviously. So, okay. So now you've got Solo and JC Mateo. And okay. So making up the numbers is Jacob Fatu and Hikuleo.
Yeah, you can
Why
make it
not?
work
I've I've seen Hikuleo fight more than I've seen the Gorillas of Destiny fight, and that's only because TNA had their own Bullet Club for a while.
for a little bit. I think
Anyways,
that
I
no
just
matter
think
what,
like it'll
Jacob
be like,
Fatu retains here. That's a
yeah,
foregone conclusion if there is one.
I think Solo win maybe. If I'm wrong, and if Hikuleo is being introduced as a second backup for Solo, and then Jacob's got a 3-on-1 situation on his hands, and that's the story they tell going forward, that's the only way Solo wins. Is if Solo's got 2 massive guys behind him that
Uh,
basically handicap Jacob. I don't think they'll do
yeah.
that.
I think
I
they
know
might have him lose, and then Hikuleo comes out, beats the hell out of him. That's the because he said you. I still want
maybe.
to hear you say one more time, "I love you so." That's supposed to be on
Yeah.
SmackDown. So
I think also you might see just as a like, I know you don't need help, but I'm just here to even the odds. After what we saw last week on SmackDown with Jimmy, maybe Jimmy just comes out in his corner type of
yeah,
thing, and
exactly.
maybe you get some like you get some random scrap on the outside between Jimmy Uso and Jeff Cobb.
Which could be
Like
interesting.
that might be funny to look at for a bit. There is some stuff in wrestling that's just I want to look at that. I want to see what that looks like. Um, but yeah, I think Fatu keeps the belt, even if he gets the crap kicked out of him before, during, or after the match. Maybe the match gets thrown out because they just get down to the ring and say, you know, F the match and just we're gonna beat the shit out of you on this big pay-per-view stage.
Certainly. And
Ah,
then, of
King of
course,
the Ring.
King of the Ring tournament. I mean,
It's Cody, right?
it has to be. It's got to be Cody Rhodes, but Orton would be interesting because of how he lost at Backlash. You know, our Truth got involved. There was a bunch of fuckery that happened, and Orton basically could have won the match, but so we still got some claim to it. Now we're
Actually, you know what?
hearing,
I wanna kind of throw now that I'm looking at my very, very scratchy notes, I wanna kind of throw the 2 last matches together a little bit.
well, that's
Because
exactly what I was just going to do. So you
Punk
did
and
it.
Cena, we're pretty sure Cena's retaining.
Now, here's the thing, too. It sounds like they're giving up on the Cena thing a little bit, the heel turn. I mean, some of the stuff we're going to talk
Mm.
about later tonight, it says John Cena gives honest thoughts on how WWE retirement tour has been going.
Oh, he
He
says they've
teases,
pivoted several times,
he
yeah.
says, well, he's teasing that there's bigger pivots coming soon. And he said that, it's been pretty incredible so far, but he didn't act like a heel at
And
all here.
he also said at the did you watch the, like, press conference Fanatics thing?
Yes, yes,
He did say that they have something big coming on Friday.
yes.
Now, whether that's him just blowing smoke up everybody's ass is another story.
I tend
Here
to
is
think
my
not with
point.
John. He typically delivers and doesn't overpromise. That's not a Cena thing to do. He typically always
Yeah,
delivers whatever he promises on. It's gonna happen.
but if he's delivering on being a heel and heels can be full of shit, then him talking shit would be
True.
him delivering. I know I'm doing a lot of talking around the houses because a lot of
But
people
he's
have tried
going
to
so
talk their way
heavily
around.
into
Yeah.
I want the fans want me to turn face, and he's hinting at it by saying, I think it's the best time to be a fan, and they're listening, and you need to be vocal
Mhm.
now. The direct quote, what is it? He's like, oh, they've made a ton of pivots, and they have, the fans have more say in my farewell than we realize. It's like, as we get close to the end of this thing, what dictates those pivots is the audience, and I think the audience will begin to feel differently because now we are truly coming to the end. So if you ever had a voice to use, if you ever wanted to say something, I had to steal my own cliche, and I hate it, but the time is now.
Mhm.
you know? Yeah.
Okay,
That's
so here's how I hadn't heard that, to be honest. Here's how I'm looking at this right now.
that's
I'm
that's what
looking at
sells
this
it, right?
I'm looking at this
Are you
as pretty
ready
much
for
a
this?
certainty that Cena's gonna keep on and go on and whatever, right?
Yes.
The only thing that gives me hope in this, because obviously this is a match that I would have loved to see at SummerSlam. And there's another match that I wanna see main event WrestleMania, and we've talked about it 100 times.
Hmm.
I may have to make a couple concessions here because with 2 night SummerSlam coming up, WWE is going to want to convince you that SummerSlam is the other WrestleMania.
Yeah.
In that regard, I wouldn't mind it if the match that I've been waiting for between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes happened at SummerSlam.
I
So here,
mean,
so
if they did turn Cody and turn Cena, anything is possible. I mean, we look at it and oh, never. But come on, and really quick before you lay it all out. I mean, the real thing of it is here. Should they have turned Cena? Maybe. But for his final year, was it smart? I don't know. Realistically, he should be going into every city being like, this is the last time. Goodbye. I love you, Pete. You know what I mean? Like, does it turn the farewell on its head? A little bit, but they really haven't capitalized on it. And John knows that. It was planned initially
I
one way and then delivered with The Rock and then disappointed since. So,
okay, taking out how it's been played out, right? Okay, if you can separate the idea with how it ended up happening, two separate things. Like, okay, Benoit killed people. He was also a fantastic wrestler. If you can
yes.
separate those things, right? If you can separate how it's actually played out, because I think it's played out really, really entertainingly for me. I cannot necessarily say that it was good. I cannot necessarily say that we are breaking any Hollywood blockbuster records with the John Cena heel turn, right?
Yeah.
But I think if John Cena was going to turn heel, based solely on the fact that everybody was so sure, everybody complained that John Cena never turned heel in the breadth of his run in WWE till it wasn't so much a complaint anymore. It was just a toss off comment. It was just a thing that existed in the ether. Yeah, John Cena is a forever good guy because that is such that idea that he'll never be a bad guy is such an element in and of itself. He had to wait until he was leaving. I
Hmm.
think I think him being able to say, "The one thing that you never thought you were gonna get from me, you're gonna get now," is a treat you have to give the audience on the way out the door,
Yeah.
or else it just looks like a double swerve. It's like, "Ah, I just did that to check it off the bucket list. Now I'm back to being regular guy again." I think they had to do it that way because of all the build of all the career and all the love and hate and whatever that got us here. I think they had to do it as a treat on the way out the door. I think it's the only way it works.
That's what
I
I'm
might be
saying for
stepping
the
I might be
retirement.
step
It
I might
has
be
to
stepping
be.
out I might be stepping out on a ledge here to say, I think Cena could only turn heel in his last year.
Yeah, because it works in the last year, but I think that he has to leave as a face. I think that has to
Oh,
be.
it doesn't matter. If he's a bad guy in his last match, once the 3 count hits, everybody cheers him, everybody
That's what I'm
says thank
saying.
you,
So they
Cena,
they kind of have
because
to cap it
we're at that
off.
we're at that point as fans though, where like somebody could it's not Lita losing her last match and then Crime Time coming out and throwing her underwear at her and she gets booed out of the building for her last
Yes.
match.
Yeah.
Like we are at the point now where we will enjoy the fiction of you being a bad guy. And as soon as the bell rings and as soon as it sinks in that it's your last match, you're going to get that ovation because the
Kayfabe isn't dead;
performance
it's
is
evolved. Yeah.
well, yeah, well, not even that though. I don't think if it's a matter of kayfabe or not. I think once the last 3 count goes and once the last bell rings, the performance is over. Everybody stand up and clap.
Yeah, and I think
You know what I mean?
the
So the
fans know that
kayfabe
now. They're along for the ride. That's what I'm saying. Kayfabe isn't alive or dead. It's just evolved into this. People
yeah,
are agreeing to be part of the experience rather than fight against it, and that helps them see that
but
hey,
I think in the John Cena situation, I don't think they are saying, "Okay, here's this guy that we really appreciate doing a thing." I think fans on that particular night are willing to flip a switch.
oh, certainly.
Are
That's what
willing
I'm
are
saying. It's
willing
evolved because
they're
they're
willing
willing
to
to go along for
go
the ride. You don't have to hide
they're
anything
willing
from
to
them
yeah,
anymore.
they're willing to go with the story, and they're willing to boo you out of the building until the second you are done playing the guy that we need to boo out of the building,
It's the same
and
way
we
that
can
they get behind Sami Zayn. They love him. They adore him. And then, oh my
Mhm,
God, one more time to see him get destroyed because they just want to be
mhm.
entertained.
Oh, yeah.
They want to hear themselves. The fans and audiences nowadays are different than crowds of
Mhm.
yesteryear. It's not about
Of
heel and
course,
face. It's
of course,
about entertaining and interacting.
of course. But I think you're gonna see some because I think it's the what is it? It's the Saturday night's main event in Boston
Yeah.
is his last event as it stands right now
Supposedly.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Supposedly, if we keep on going by the kayfabe countdown thing that he's doing, right? But I think on the night, you will see a very, like, tick from one moment to the next. You will see fans that are willing to flip a switch mid-show. We are going to give you all the booze that you've earned, and then we are going to flip that switch, and we are going to give you your cheers on the way out the door.
I'm just
I think
that's
it's
what
gonna be a
makes me
very
think
cool
he's
thing
not
to
going to be a
watch.
heel on the way out. I think that
Oh,
they're
I'm
gonna
saying
have
I'm
him.
saying if.
Yeah.
I'm saying if.
But that I'm saying that just makes yeah, what makes me think they won't have him be a heel because I with the pivot talk with Cody talking about openly being
Mm,
a heel eventually, like, it just seems like they're prepping fans. They're putting it in their thoughts now. Hey, this is something that's probably going to happen, and they're letting you know. Hey, catch
mm,
on because it
fair.
seems like that's the not the error of their ways, but like we had to turn them heel now, but it's not something that we want to keep going forever. I have a feeling that by the time SummerSlam hits, that'll be the end of the heel run.
Okay, fair. Anyways, the last thing I was gonna say, from a analytical point of view, I guess you could say, um, King of the Ring definitely determines the world title match because the way I'm looking at it right now, if for some reason Randy Orton wins King of the Ring, 100% John Cena's winning. If Cody Rhodes wins, 99% sure Cena's still winning. 1% of doubt goes to Punk.
Yeah, because Punk could take the title and Cena could lose the title here. What if Punk gets the belt finally? And Cena's story is not about being the champ anymore, and that's what makes him realize he doesn't need to be a heel. I mean,
Because there's
there are stories
nothing
here.
there's nothing really, or at least they haven't sown the seeds for anything with Punk and Orton.
No,
Like, there's not really a story. They've shared some, mutual respect in some backstage stuff and whatnot. They have teased for almost 2 years now the coming together of Cody and Punk.
yes.
And I don't think and this is where you say, "Oh, would they turn Punk? Would they turn Cody and whatever?" I don't think either one of them has to change for
Oh, they
that to
don't
be
have to at
interesting.
all. No
Yeah.
doubt about it. I don't think they would
I think
change yet. I think it would
because they're
happen
both
later, but
here's the thing, the about a year apart, I think it was before each Royal Rumble, maybe? Or maybe one of them was before Chamber or whatever. The 2 times that they've come and cut promos on each other, they were both good guys, and they were both dicks. And
yeah.
I don't want labels on either one of them in that match because the crowd, if they main event night 2 of the first ever 2-night, we want you to think it's WrestleMania SummerSlam with CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes, or sorry, yeah, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship. That crowd is gonna melt. I can't predict right now which way they go, but that
But
crowd is going to be loud. That crowd is going to fill the stadium. The crowd is going to shake the stadium Do I think it's going to happen? No. Like I say, 99-1. But if Orton wins King of the Ring, it's 100-0. Because if Orton wins the King of the Ring, that means we're just getting Orton Cena round 2, which
Yeah.
is fine.
It just
But
makes it
it's not.
more of
But it's
a
not. But it's not
predictable
main.
foregone
But it's not main
conclusion.
eventing. It's not main eventing night 2 of the SummerSlam that you want people to think is WrestleMania. Now, I know you got 2 minutes left. I want to throw one quick question to you because this is what I was thinking about all day today. We were talking about Saudi. We're talking about Sammy's stuff with Karrion Kross. We're talking about Liv's injury. Are you with me right now when I say when they go back to Saudi next year for the Royal Rumble, right now, my front runners for the Royal Rumble are,
Dun,
listen to this carefully
dun.
because there's caveats. My winners of the Royal Rumble are babyface Liv Morgan
Dun, dun, dun. Our big return. That's what Cody's thinking.
and heel Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to pop for Liv. I mean, the reaction might be different in Saudi. It's a different kind of crowd, but we can build it.
Heel Sami Zayn.
Heel Sami Zayn. Heel Sami
What a
Zayn.
pop.
Heel Sami Zayn going to WrestleMania and chasing either Rollins or Cody or CM Punk for a title. Because I don't think anybody else is grabbing the world title in the interim.
Yeah.
Maybe Drew McIntyre, depending on what his situation is, but that won't be a night 2. But I'm just thinking right now, if you look at Sammy and Liv, who aren't even really that related in storylines at all, but if you flip it and we get to next January and your winners are babyface Liv Morgan and heel Sami Zayn in Saudi.
In Saudi. Yeah, that's what makes it.
And Liv's just a fucking star. Like,
oh, absolutely. She was already going to be the MVP of the year again. Like, she was really up there and doing well and just.
You see people being dicks to Cena or to Punk because he's like, oh yeah, it's really unfortunate that she's injured right now. She was my MVP last year, and everybody coming in the comments under the, oh, there he goes, he's trying to shag another one. It's like he's giving
married.
props to his coworker.
Exactly.
Well, never mind the married thing. Like he's giving props to his coworker.
But people just jump to you're more on the proper brain. I'm more on the married man brain of being like, come on, really? Yeah. It's another, a la Cora Jade or Roxanne or some other BS along the way.
Yeah. Well, he only ever compliments women, except he's bigging up Braun Breaker and Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes and
that never happened. You know it.
He went out in the middle of a promo on Monday Night Raw and told John Cena, "I'm not the best. You took on Cody Rhodes. He's the best of us."
Yes. Funny how that works, huh?
Do you know what's funny as well? And somebody sent it to me, and I can't believe I forgot about this, or I would have said it earlier, right? Think about the war between WWE and AEW, and this is the last time I'm going to mention it because we got to wrap it up soon. Think about the war between AEW and WWE, and think about who we're predicting the king and queen of the ring are going to be.
Yes. Just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, but they're hard to work with.
The Tony Fumble Rumble lives on, my friend. I still wonder if he's going to come to my daughter's graduation party. He was invited, so haven't heard back yet. I think he's going to send a gift.
Tony Fumble Rumble in Saudi. Anyways, I think we've rambled for quite long enough. I hope everybody's going to enjoy the show this weekend. If you're not enjoying it for different reasons or whatever, that's cool. Come back and join us for the next one, but you're probably not listening at this point. Jake, tell them where to find you.
You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter/X, on Rumble as well, all at Countdown. And then you can find me on YouTube at Jake Countdown and DeMarco, and I'll be live after Night of Champions for the review. So we'll be covering everything that happens on Saturday.
Nice. And you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I'm going to say it one more time. Go check out our friends over at the Wrestling for Life Network this Sunday, June 29th at 6:30. They're doing their live stream for Men's Mental Health Month. But yeah, till then, he's been Jake. I've been Spaz. We've been your Night of Champions reality check. Maybe, perhaps. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to every last one of you later, but right now, I am tagging out.